Hey there, I'm professional psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up Sundays for April 9th, 2023. For those of you who follow me regularly, you'll know that I did not have a video last week. That's because I was celebrating my birthday week. 2 weeks ago, I turned 60 on March 26th, and then spent the next week and a half traveling through Arkansas, mining for crystals, seeing the beautiful sights of Arkansas. I do want to give special prayers up to those that have been affected by the tornadoes. There was a tornado that hit Little Rock the day after I left Little Rock, hit my cousin's neighborhood. I was staying with my cousin there. Her house was not touched, but that is not the case for many, many people in her neighborhood. It looked like Armageddon there when I drove back through on the way back home. So prayers up, not only to the folks of Little Rock, but all the people that were affected by all the major storms and tornadoes that have hit across this country recently. All right, so in this video, I'll be talking about the transits for this upcoming week. I'll talk a little bit about some of the transits that are coming up for next week as well, because we're heading into super powerful times. And I'll be doing separate videos where I'll do 3 tarot card readings for each of the 12 signs. So I'll post the links to those below this video once I get them uploaded. I also want to give a shout out to my daily 1-minute videos that I post here on this channel. I post them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. This is where I look at the transits for the day, talk about the most important ones, and I draw a tarot card. So 1 minute of your time to get the update of what you need to have the heads up for every day. Make sure you're checking those out. Please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Share this with your friends. And I appreciate those of you who watch regularly and have already subscribed and already do share these with your friends. Okay. So the sun is at 19 degrees in Aries as I'm recording this, so it will move into the 3rd decan of Aries later this evening. Aries sun brings out the Aries out of everyone, and we all have all 12 signs in our chart. We tend to be identified with what our sun sign is, but we really have all the zodiac within our psyche, and depending on which house each sign rules, it shows up, the different signs show up in different areas of our life. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the baby of the zodiac. So as the sun moves through Aries, it brings out the Aries themes. On a downside, Aries can be impulsive. It can be rash. It can go off without thinking. It can be explosive. It could be trigger temper. These are all some of the downsides of Aries. Some of the positive sides of Aries are a pioneering spirit, having passion for life, being pioneers, not being afraid to initiate new things, having the courage to go into the unknown, warming other people up with their delightful spirit. This is the Aries energy in a nutshell. So we've all been experiencing this Aries energy as the sun moves through Aries. Now, not only is the sun in Aries, Jupiter is in Aries right now, and it brings good luck. It was initiating a whole new 12-year cycle as it moved into Aries for the second time, because it beeped into Aries briefly last fall, then it went back into Pisces, and at the very end of December, Jupiter moved back into Aries again to start a new 12-year cycle. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to move around the entire zodiac. It is not too late to jump on this new energy of Aries starting a new 12-year cycle to set intentions for your own life and what you want to achieve over these next 12 years. Aries empowers the self. It's all about our own identity. So Jupiter can make things bigger. It can shine the light on how you feel about yourself. Do you feel empowered? Do you feel like you can do anything and everything? Or do you feel deflated or full of unresolved feelings? These can all be highlighted with Jupiter in Aries. We also have Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's the place where we're trying to heal wounds. It's in the mid-decan of Aries, so it's helping us work on healing our identity when it comes to what we think or perceive other people think of us. Do we care or not? Are we full enough with our own esteem that it doesn't matter if people praise us or call us out for stuff? Like, it really doesn't move us if you have a solid sense of self. If you have a low sense of self or low esteem, low self-esteem, you can feel deflated if someone criticizes you. You can feel inflated if someone praises you. Really, the goal would be to hold a steady sense of self no matter what, so that we're not batted about by people liking us or people disliking us. So I believe Chiron in the mid-decan of Aries is helping us heal these areas of our lives. So we have some powerful transits this week. The highlight of this week is the Sun conjuncting Jupiter. A lot of astrologers call this the luckiest day of the year. That's because Jupiter brings good luck. It's the beneficial planet. Venus and Jupiter are considered the most beneficial planets, bringing in gifts, bringing in surprises. Jupiter brings in knowledge, spiritual growth and development, but it can really bring in gifts and rewards and positive senses of self. So the Sun will be conjunct Jupiter on Tuesday the 11th. Now, these times that I give you for any of these aspects, know that we can feel transits before they hit. We can feel them afterwards as well. So it's not always that we feel them on the day they're exact. And the times that I'll be giving you is Austin, Texas times, which is the central time zone in the United States, because that's where I am. Make, changes based on where you are on the planet. But the Sun will be exactly conjunct Jupiter at 5:07 p.m. on Tuesday, April 11th. All right, so that's when that's the biggest event for this week. Right, so look out for positive things to come in, having the courage to do something new, gifts and rewards from the universe showing up. And particularly in your sense of self, because it's Aries that these two are getting together. The Sun conjuncts Jupiter usually once a year, because the Sun takes a year to go around the zodiac. So they're connecting now in Aries. So it's also a new cycle with the Sun and the Jupiter connecting. It'll be another 12 years before they connect again in Aries. So this can be the start of big things too. Jupiter makes things bigger. So, and Aries is all about initiating and starting things. So this could bring in good luck. Something you've already set intentions for could show up. So it's a day to really open up and receive, right? Now, I want to backtrack a little bit since I've talked about the highlight and I want to talk first about the moon. If you want to learn about transits, the place to start, I believe, is paying attention to where the moon is, because it usually takes 2.5 days to transit a sign, and see what you notice when the moon transits a particular sign. See if you notice it within things, how you're feeling, what you feel, energy level, what you feel called to do or not, what you notice in the world around you, what you notice showing up in the news or the headlines or the people in your life. Just paying attention, taking notes, going, interesting. That's what I do on a daily basis, is just I'm still taking notes. I'm still learning about astrology. There's so much to learn. It is a vast field. So, and I'm a channel. So I get the information I consciously know, and then what I'm getting from spirit, I add to that when I'm doing my readings. Same thing when I'm doing tarot readings. I have the knowledge of the tarot card, but whatever it's feeling in the moment is what I'm going to be giving to you in terms of readings, whether that's in these mini readings that I do on Sundays or whether you're getting a private reading with me. So right now the moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the 9th house in the astrological wheel. That's the house of the guru. Right? So guru being those that are interested in spiritual growth and development, those that are dispensing spiritual advice and counsel to others. The 9th house in Sag is the learned. Anytime you have initials after your name, you've gone after the extra degrees, the extra credentialing, the extra knowledge of any kind. That's Sagittarius. It rules law as well, so a law degree would fall into that auspices. And then it's also about global travel and international connections. So the Sag moon has us expanding ourselves. It's also a fire sign, so we could be more social as the moon moves through Sag. And I always like to say Sagittarius people often will open mouth and insert foot because they're blurting out all the knowledge that they've amassed, whether you want to hear it or not. So the moon's moving through Sag today. It'll be in Sag tomorrow on Monday. Then the moon moves into Capricorn Tuesday at 12:33 p.m. This is a grounding energy. It's an initiating energy because it is a cardinal sign. So we want to initiate new projects, lead others. This is the Capricorn tendency to be the leader, and ground ourselves. So the moon will be in Capricorn Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday the 13th. At 3:42 p.m., the moon moves into Aquarius. It'll cross over Pluto right after it goes into Aquarius, which is being activated by death and transformation, power and control issues. So these things could reach ahead. Aquarius is the double wavy lines. It's an air sign. It's a fixed sign. So Aquarius energy can be a know-it-all energy. If you know any Aquarians, they know it all. It's also ruled by Uranus, so it can be sudden, unexpected things can be the theme when planets are moving through Aquarius. It's humanity vibing together. That's what I see the double wavy lines is like, let's all vibe together. It's all become one. Aquarius rules the 11th house in the astrological wheel, which is the house of groups and networks and connections. So to back up, Capricorn rules the 10th house in the wheel, which is the house of our mission on this planet. All right, so the moon will be in Aquarius Thursday afternoon, all day Friday. And then Saturday, the 15th, the moon moves into Pisces at 5:56 p.m. This takes a dive into spiritual and psychic things. We could also sometimes be extra sleepy as the moon moves through Pisces. So the moon will be in Pisces Saturday through Sunday. So that's the overlay of the moon for this upcoming week. I will go ahead and give a preview of coming attractions in that next week we'll have a new moon / solar eclipse. That'll happen on Wednesday the 19th at 11:12 p.m. That's Austin, Texas time, and it happens at 29 degrees and 50 minutes of Aries. So we had a new moon last month at 0 degrees of Aries. So this will be the second new moon in Aries, new moon / solar eclipse. And we are already in eclipse season because we begin to feel eclipse energy before it hits. I'll talk more extensively about the eclipse next week in next week's video, but I wanted to give everybody a heads up because it is going to be a new moon. New moons are always great times to create a vision, make a vision board, write out your goals, what do you want to accomplish for this next year. This solar eclipse, and eclipses are always portal periods. You can jettison your life forward around eclipse. You can have people come into your life around eclipses. You can have people exit your life around eclipses. They're chapter beginnings and endings in our lives. They're always happening around the nodes. So this is going to happen around the North Node, close to the North Node. North Node teaches us what we need to learn right now. And then the South Node, the next eclipse will be 2 weeks later in May 5th, I believe. May 5th will be the lunar eclipse, full moon, lunar eclipse that will happen at 14 degrees and 58 minutes of Scorpio. That is also going to be a powerful eclipse. One of the things that makes this new moon in Aries so potent, it's at the anaretic degree, 29 degrees of Aries. So any planet or point at 29 degrees of any sign is considered the anaretic degree. It's a testing degree. It's when we have a final exam. Anybody who has natal planets at 29 degrees of any of the signs will feel this in their life, that they're tested in the area where they have that planet or point at 29 degrees. It's a mastery level on one thing. It shows that you've mastered all the qualities of that sign, but it also can be like where we are tested. And so you feel like life is always throwing you curveballs. You're always being tested, and it's not an easy point to carry. So the other interesting thing about this 29 degree point is this was the degree where Mars, the ruler of Aries, was when January 6th, 2021 happened. So to me, this solar eclipse is going to be activating the energies of the January 6th issues. Also, Aries, one of the downsides is unresolved anger issues tend to be exploding with people as planets move through Aries. In this case, the sun and the moon will be together at this last degree of Aries. So I have seen consistently people with unresolved anger issues explode in these last degrees of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. So watch out for volatility as the sun moves through this last decan of Aries over this next week, and then up to this crescendo of the eclipse. And not only is eclipses by themselves are portal points, like they fast track our life forward. It's kind of like the old Star Trek shows where they get in the spaceship and then they go to warp speed and like leapfrog over space. That's what eclipses can do in our life, can really propel us forward. And we may not always be ready for that. So the other powerful thing about this eclipse, and there's many, is that it's going to be squaring Pluto. Pluto's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it'll be like just a few minutes off that square for exact. Pluto is death and transformation, power and control. Anything that is activated Pluto, even when any planet crosses Pluto or is in a square or an opposition or a conjunction with Pluto, it is potent, because Pluto is like a wrecking ball. It will totally take something down and build something back in its place. It's a demolition crew. So because the eclipse is on this really intensive point in our astrology wheel, and it's squaring Pluto, I mean, I don't even know how it's going to show up. I'm praying it doesn't show up as war of some kind, but it's going to be intensive. Also adding to the intensity is that Jupiter and Eris are right there conjunct the eclipse as well. Jupiter makes things bigger. So, and then Uranus is going to be adding into this equation because it's in a relationship with Mars, the ruler of this eclipse. So again, a lot to dissect that I'll dive into more next week, but just know we're already feeling the effects of the eclipse this week. All right. So just know if you're feeling kind of like something's coming, something feels off, you feel restless or anxious, you may be tuning into events that are about to happen, or you may be being changed from a deep place inside yourself, because Aries is about the self. So we can have the opportunity to go through a fabulous transformation of self and really jettison our life forward in a major way. But again, the people that are going to have the most difficulty with this are people who have unresolved issues about their self that can really be triggered, and unresolved anger issues in particular can make people be exploding all over the place. So just watch out for that. If you know people in your life that have unresolved anger issues, just keep a wide orb around them over these next couple weeks. So that's huge events that are coming. Okay, I'm going to back up and talk about the astrology on a day-by-day basis. Monday, the 10th, at 9:51 a.m., Juno in Taurus is going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus at 17 degrees and 17 minutes. Juno represents commitment. She was the good wife in astrology. She was Zeus's main wife. So it represents who we commit to and what we commit to. And Uranus is the great awakener. It breaks things up, makes things unexpected. So there could be a coming together in committed relationship that's kind of a surprise. Like people could choose to like, well, I'm kind of surprised about this, but yeah, I want to commit to you, or I want to commit to this. Those kind of energies could be happening on Monday. But Uranus brings in curveballs, unexpected things. So something could surprise you that you decide, oh yeah, I want to do that. The other thing that happens on Monday is Venus, which is moving in the last degrees of Taurus right now, the sign she rules, is going to move into Gemini, and then she'll be in a trine with Pluto at 5:14 a.m. Tuesday the 11th. Okay, so Venus moving into Gemini. Venus is about love, relationships, our money and finances. Gemini is the twins. It's all the air signs are about communication and connecting with others. Libra is the scales. Libra is about one-on-one relationships. Aquarius is about groups and networks. Gemini is classically about your siblings and your neighbors, those that are closest to you. So Venus moving into Gemini could stimulate connections with your neighbors, with your siblings, but just communication in general. Gemini also rules social media and connections with others. So there could be a lot of people connecting and finding each other through dating apps or social media as Venus moves through Gemini. The trine to Pluto is a positive connection. So there could be new people that come into your life around this trine. So again, Venus moves into Gemini Monday evening late, and then early Tuesday morning is when the trine is. So you could have new openings in relationships, women coming in that are important, because Venus can be just about women as well, sister energy, girlfriends, women that are important in your life. It also can be about the arts, so creative expression can be at a full tilt boogie as Venus moves through Gemini. Gemini rules the third house in the astrological wheel, which is the house of writing and communicating and, so getting your website together, like those kind of things could happen as Venus moves through Gemini. This trine to Pluto, however, is potent, powerful in a positive way. This is a positive interaction which pulls out the transformative element of Pluto with Venus. So you could feel that your relationships are transformed in a positive way, particularly because that's the morning that the Sun and Jupiter are combined. And so there could be the gift of relationship coming in because of these alignment of the planets. And it could be a surprise, again, because Juno there conjunct Uranus. So there could just be this lovely surprise energy around relationships on Monday and Tuesday. Again, with this conjunction of the Sun and Jupiter, Jupiter brings in good luck, hope, good fortune, blessings, gifts, opportunities. So just be open to receive positive things coming in this week. And again, you can feel these effects beforehand, you can feel them after effect. But this could be a really beautiful, lucky week in terms of relationships, commitments, creative projects. All that could be really juicy and rich this week. On Wednesday at 5:06 a.m., that's when it's exact, the Sun in Aries will be squaring Pallas Athena in Cancer. Now, Pallas came out of Zeus's head, fully armed for battle. She is like the general on the battlefield. She can be the strategizer. She can get everybody else organized and doing what they need to do. A square is a contentious relationship, so you could have a quirky, difficult conversation with someone who's in power. There could be fear of your own power coming up as a result of this energy. There could be issues coming up with a parent, because Cancer can represent mom, and Pallas can represent dad. So the square with the Sun could be issues coming up, or yourself as a parent. that those things could come up. These are just potentials. Fear of one's power. That's the one that really I feel highlighted the most, or feel like you're just don't know how to get something organized, don't know how to have something come together, like really go, oh, wait, I don't know. So there's kind of a block stuck energy on Wednesday. Thursday, as the moon moves into Aquarius and then crosses over Pluto, the moon represents our intuition and our inner realm. So there could be some powerful insights, interest in finding your tribe. Aquarius is all about your tribe, your people, like wanting to really connect and maybe have some heart-to-heart conversations with people in your tribe as the moon goes through Aquarius on Thursday and Friday. Friday the 14th at 11:38 a.m., Venus in Gemini will square Saturn in Pisces at 4 degrees and 4 minutes. And then that happens at 11:38 a.m. And then at 12:30 p.m., Saturn in Pisces is in a sextile with the North Node in Taurus. So both of these, anytime Saturn's involved, it can be about setting up boundaries, saying, no, that doesn't work for me. Nope, not willing to do that. Nope, can't do this. Or this is how I need to structure my time. Saturn's where we put in extra effort and energy. And Saturn brings rewards for hard work. But a square between Venus and Saturn could be like, wait, hold up. This is not working for me. This relationship, no. You could set up boundaries in relationships. Saturn can be a reality check too. So, and Venus is relationships, but also money and finances. So you could like have a reality check around finances, money, relationships, all that. And then this sextile between Saturn and the North Node could be about checking in with yourself. Are you setting, because the sextile is a positive relationship. The North Node is all about what our soul's trying to learn. In Taurus, it's about valuing ourselves and our valuables. So again, there could be money, financial check-ins. Of course, it happens to be right before tax day, right? So there could be some people doing last minute tax, having a reality check about what they owe the IRS. That kind of stuff could also be happening, interestingly enough. But I'm really feeling boundaries, setting boundaries with yourself and your spending, setting boundaries with other people in relationships. And you could just see, oh no, I ain't going to do this anymore when it comes to relationships, money, and finances. All right, on Saturday, the moon is moving into Pisces in the evening. Vesta, which has been in Aries, will be moving into Taurus. And I see Vesta as where we've sacrificed ourselves for other people. So she's going through the last stages of Aries this week before Saturday. So there could also be this testing of, I am done with sacrificing myself for others. Like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. So these issues could also come to a head this week of like where you feel like you're giving too much and not giving back, that it's not equally measured. And then moving into Taurus, it's all about valuing yourself more. So that's a beautiful, sweet shift. On Saturday the 16th, Vesta will be in a square with Pluto at 0 degrees of Taurus, and Pluto's at 0 degrees of Aquarius still. This is like an end to self-sacrificing again. So you may get some insights around that this week, and then you just say, I'm done. I'm done with this. So there could be some endings. Anytime Pluto is involved, there could be endings. And so again, we're headed into an eclipse where Pluto's going to be involved. So there can be relationships ending. Again, we're already feeling the eclipse energy, new beginnings in relationships coming in. All right. Let me look at my notes here. Okay, so Mercury right now is moving through Taurus. It entered its shadow on the 6th of April. So what does that mean? It means it's entered into the place in the skies that it will go retrograde to, and we will be heading into a Mercury retrograde. It goes retrograde on the 21st of April. So right after the eclipse on the 20th, then we have, on the 19th, then we have on the 21st, Mercury going retrograde. So it will go up to 15 degrees of Taurus. It'll retrograde back to 5 degrees of Taurus. So if you have planets or points in this range of Taurus from 5 to 15 degrees, you will feel this the most potently. Mercury retrogrades have a bad rap because Mercury represents our thinking, our conversations, our communications with others, our technology, our phones, our computers, our transportation, short-term travel, what we do in our car and nearby. So all these things can end up being glitched when Mercury goes retrograde. Taurus also rules our physical body, our health, our food, how we feed ourselves, our money, how we make our money, how we store our money. So financial things could be disrupted with this Mercury retrograde. For you personally, for us nationally or globally, there could be financial things that are connected with this Mercury retrograde, especially because it goes retrograde right after this eclipse. So it's entered its shadow zone, which means you can start seeing what the Mercury retrograde is going to be teaching you. Now, one benefit of Mercury retrograde is it can cause you to redo things. The RE words: redo, reconsider, review, replace. So it's like go back over things. So it's already begun to show you, if you're paying attention, what the lessons are. It's kind of like getting the preview of a course, getting the outline of a course. We're getting the outline here between now and when it actually goes retrograde of what, and it can start feeling like Mercury retrograde already. And so then you just want to take extra time when you're communicating with folks. You want to go back over things, make sure that you said exactly what you want to say before you send on that text, on that email, that kind of stuff. And again, that I'll talk about that more as it hits. But if you're planning anything into the last part of April, you would want to know that Mercury's going retrograde. It will be retrograde until May 14th, and then it'll be a few more weeks until it gets out of its shadow. So just to know that that's going to be coming up. And it'll be conjuncting it. Mercury already conjuncted the North Node on the 6th. It sextiled Saturn on the 5th. It was in a square with Pluto on the 3rd. And on the 8th, it was sextiling Mars. So it's already been activated by all these other planets. It's kind of like it's had these relationships with all these planets. So it's kind of like Mercury's the messenger. So it's loaded up with stuff to process. Is kind of how I see this Mercury retrograde going. When Venus trines Pluto, Venus will be in Gemini. Pluto is in Aquarius. This trine hasn't happened in these signs in 250 years because it's been that long since Pluto was in Aquarius. So Pluto also holds the people we're supposed to meet in our lives. So it's like our soul contracts, people we're destined to experience. So Venus, again, brings in benefits. So there could be beneficial people and doors that are open to new connections this week with this trine with Venus and Pluto. And other relationships will definitely end because Pluto is about endings and transformation and deaths. So just be open and know that if a relationship is removed from your life, either the lesson has been learned that you need to learn from that person, or you're being protected. Like that's how I like to look at it. When people are removed from my life, or I get blocked or on a relationship, it's like, okay, oh wow, I'm going to trust the universe here, and that the people that are supposed to be in your life will come in. It could be really large, and super important people could come into your life this week, or they could have already come in this last week, and you're just really seeing that this week. Okay, talked about the eclipse, the Aries 29 degree point, which can be, again, pissing and vinegar. Okay, so Mars is in Cancer right now. Mars is the ruler of Aries. In Cancer, Cancer's a water sign. It's like taking a big fireball and plunging it into water. The crab moves sideways. Mars doesn't really do well in Cancer. Cancer is about like old childhood pieces, and so we could all want to go within. You could have childhood issues being come to the surface with Mars going through Cancer. Mars is how we put energy into things and how we take action. Cancer can be the mother, so it could be issues with mother coming up, or it also rules the fourth house in the astrological wheel, which is our childhood home and our childhood experience. So we could have old stuff rise to the surface as Mars goes through Cancer. I already talked about the Aries energy, but Aries is the I am. It's so we're still highlighting this energy this week with the sun moving through the last decan of Aries, and also the last decan of any sign is really about the future. Like, who do you want to be for the future, right? So Jupiter is in this last decan. Chiron's in the mid-decan. So the sun and Jupiter in this last decan is a lot of hopeful energy towards the future, or you may want to initiate something this week or the next couple of weeks that is going to have a long-term effect on your future. Again, making a commitment on Jupiter can mean a 12-year cycle for something. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, Jupiter. And then Eris is also in this last decan of Aries. I haven't talked a lot about Eris recently. Eris was Aries' sister, and she was happy to be on the front battle lines with Eris. She was a warrior as well. The myth goes that she was not invited to a wedding on Mount Olympus, and she showed up at the reception and raised bloody hell. So Eris can represent how we stand up for ourselves. Eris can represent protesting. So can Pluto. So with this coming eclipse, Jupiter is going to be conjunct Eris, so making it bigger. Pluto can be protesting. So there could be a lot of people taking to the streets all over this globe in protest of whatever's going down in their nation. So we've already been having a lot of protest. I just feel that's going to be escalated around these eclipse energies as well. Talked about Mercury going retrograde and the lunar eclipse coming up May 5th. Yeah, that's all the notes I have for this week. Enjoy this sun conjunct Jupiter. Set your intentions for the new moon solar eclipse for next week already. Like, what do you want to have in your life? And this eclipse, usually eclipses last like 6 months. This eclipse is going to be lasting like 2 years because of the connection with Pluto and other aspects that are going to be happening at the same degree over time. So Pluto is going to be at this same point with the nodes. There's going to be a square to the nodes happening in July at the same eclipse point, and the nodes are already destiny, and so there's just some eeriness, like stepping into some destiny of our planet, destiny for yourself personally, destiny of the collective. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting year ahead. So a year of transformation, a lot of demolition, because Pluto is a major player with squaring the nodes, squaring this eclipse. So be willing to let go of the things you cannot control. Be willing to step into transformative situations and transform the things in your life that you need to shift. Like, if you're willing to let go of the things that need to be let go of in your life, the people, places, and things that you need to release, you'll be able to ride these things and just feel euphoric. If you're holding on to stuff you don't want to let go of, it could be real. You could feel like you're being dragged behind a moving vehicle over a dirt road. Like, it could be so intensive. So I always advocate spiritual connection through breath work, prayer, meditation, chanting, walking in the woods, soaking in the tub, doing art, instruments, whatever it does that connects you with your higher self, your higher soul, listening to your own intuition for your daily download, because everyone is psychic. We're all getting guidance from within. And when we pay attention, listen to it, follow our own inner direction, we're going to be in the best place for our life. Say no to the things that you're feeling, nope, I shouldn't go there. Nope, I don't feel like I should do that. Say yes to the things where there feels like there's an openness and an expansion going on, even if it feels scary, because change can feel scary, even positive change. All right. Have a great week. Peace.